So the headlights and the engine bay in this 2010 Nissan Altima look great. Next up is the paint. As you can see, the paint on this vehicle has its fair share of oxidation, scratches, and swirl marks. And since this is not going to be a concourse-worthy show car, like I mentioned, I'm not going for a perfect, flawless finish. This is a big picture detail, and my goal is to simply make it shiny. The goal is not to remove every single scratch and every single swirl mark. I want to stand back 10 feet and go, wow, this vehicle looks a lot better. Because to be honest, most people, that's their expectation. So if you buy a used car, this is how you restore the paint. Or if you're flipping a used car, or if you're selling your used car. Simple steps to make the paint look a lot better for the new owner. So this Altima has a base coat, clear coat paint job, which is most common on new cars. And the process I'm going to show you is applicable to all types of paint systems. So to show you the dramatic before and after, I'm going to apply a tape line. And when you apply a tape line like this, make sure you use high quality automotive grade masking tape. And the reason why is if you use the wrong tape, then what's going to happen is you actually cause damage to the paint when you take it off. Now, this process can absolutely be done by hand. However, I don't have all day and I'm a tool guy, so I'm going to use a random orbital polisher, but not just any random orbital polisher. I like to use a forced rotation machine, which means that this pad is gear driven. The advantage of using a gear driven polisher is that the pad never stops spinning, which therefore produces much better results because you have a lot more power driving the polish on the surface. And with this tool being a dual action, you don't have to worry about instilling any kind of swirl marks or scratches. I always use a dual action machine. And you take your polish, and for this I'm actually going to use a Graphene 3-in-1. So it cleans, meaning it removes embedded dirt, it polishes to remove light paint defects and oxidation, and it seals for long-lasting protection. But you can use any high-quality cleaner wax of your choice. I tend to gear towards the Graphene product line because they simply work better. You spend more, but I'll tell you, the results are worth it. And when you're working on paint that's dry and faded and oxidized like this, you want to make sure that you use an ample amount of product. You know, a lot of times when you log in online and you watch detailing videos, you'll see these guys just use a few drops of product. Well, when you're working on paint that's dry and brittle like this, that's not the case. You want all the lubricants and all the abrasives working for you. So I'm going to spread my polish out with the machine turned off. And then with this application, I'm going to be on a higher speed setting, and I'm going to be applying firm downward pressure with a slow arm movement. So a lot of times, as a guy especially, you hear the sound of that power tool. It sounds loud, so what you do is you move your arms really fast. Well, you don't want to do that. So one of the many reasons I like using a quality product that has graphene in it is because graphene, at least a good quality graphene product, is much easier to wipe off. So, and here's a tip. When you grab a microfiber towel to wipe off your polish or your compound or whatever it is you're using, if it has a tag, take the tag off. And also, when you're using a microfiber towel, pick one that has a flat weave around 300 to 400 GSM. What you don't want to use for an application like this is a super thick, fluffy towel. Because what will happen is this towel will drag across the surface and it makes the compound or the polish much harder to wipe off. So wipe it off, and when you wipe off your polish or whatever it is you're removing, you want to use short, firm strokes. Don't wipe really fast like this to try and get the job done so you can go inside and have some sweet tea. take your time and be diligent with it because it'll be much easier to remove. And right off the bat, the difference is absolutely amazing. I only did it one step. I didn't spend a ton of time. There was not a ton of money involved. You can use any dual action polisher to achieve this results. The one that I used is forced rotation, so it simply works faster. And repeating this process is simple, and there's a science behind the foam pads, just as there is with anything else, including the polishes and the compounds. So the foam pads, there's different levels of aggressiveness. I used a cutting pad on my dual action polisher, but there's also softer foam pads for applying a wax, and there's finishing pads and pretty much everything in between. So if you want to keep a simple detail like this, you do not want to perform multiple steps. Like I said, if you're selling a car, or if you just bought a beater or something for an affordable price and it doesn't look that great, you can quickly restore it with minimal effort by using a high-quality Graphene 3-in-1 or your favorite cleaner wax of choice. So I'm going to get back to work. I have a lot of paint to polish, but that's how you restore paint quickly and easily.